You're looking good.
Thank you. Y'all
We're
are
live
looking
now.
Official. I feel nice.
Yeah, it feels good, huh?
Feels good to be here.
So wave high to like the trillions that will see this in the future.
How is it going, awesome people?
Yeah.
How's
So
it going?
Femi, you're like a recently new dad, right?
I am the pending new dad.
You're the pending new dad.
Pending new dad. My little one is gonna be here in less than 2 months.
Ooh. Okay, so my oldest is like in his 20s, right? So I've got something like you. I don't know if do you already have your dad joke game down or no?
I don't, man. Like I've been sitting here trying to think about like what am I like what am I gonna need to be ready for? Like people are roasting me already, so like I be ready for this.
Dad jokes are really like they are more important than you give them credit to be. Okay, they really are, and really what this show is about isn't about marketing or business or anything else like that. Watch all of our back shows. It'll be good training for you because it's all about the dad joke. Okay, so I have one for you. Okay.
Okay.
So it's just you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. So
brace yourself.
Yeah. So I just got to tell you, I am so flushed with embarrassment.
Why?
Yeah, because, November 19th, I missed it. November 19th actually legitimately is National Toilet Day. Yep. And you missed this, but everybody else who watches the show on the regular knows, Femi, that although it's not a stat holiday, I was going to give the holiday off to all my employees as a day off in lieu.
Come on.
meaning, like this is how you celebrate National Toilet Day. If you want a day off in lieu, you have to it's a bit of a tradition. It goes back a long ways. I think it was like first done by like the Celtics, like really where what you would do is you would show your love by purposefully food poisoning the other person. So they had to take the day off in lieu, like spend the day. See? Okay. You got it, Femi? This is what you need to do to be a great dad.
Strike again.
Okay? This is what you need to do. It might hurt at first, but you can do it. I have so much faith in you.
Just remember, Femi, love hurts.
I want to know how long does the setup take before I can land it? Like what is the psychology behind this?
Dude, there's the whole psychology behind dad jokes is there is no psychology. The setup could be years long,
that's
or
fire.
Just give the punchline right away.
That's fire. That's fire. I think I think naturally I'm ready for it. I remember before this little one was growing, I was already lining up jokes that just had no setup. It was just like drop and then walk away like so.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you the best. Like if you can pull this off, you are a dad that has the love in his heart, cares for his family, and this is how you express it fully. Okay, so you
graduated from Dad University.
Yeah. Okay, so ultimate
fully accredited.
Okay, I actually haven't heard anybody else achieve this to the level that I have. Okay, just saying.
Mastery.
Okay, but I think it's probably time to start passing it on. And since Arthur doesn't have a kid in the waiting, it's going to you. Okay.
I got to get ready for this. So, hold on. You set it up.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not going to do the glasses quite yet. You do that because it's a lot of.
It's too much.
A lot of brightness that's going to come at you all at once here. This is what you do. You're sitting at the dining room table.
Okay.
And you just start saying the most bland, boring word you can possibly think of.
Okay.
Over and over again with no inflection. Goes like this. Paper. Paper. Jeez, right away. Paper. Paper. You do that for 5 minutes, your kids are going to be laughing. They're going to be killing themselves. It'll be a family moment that'll be remembered forever.
I'm trying to think what
Okay.
doesn't matter any word. Like
you choose your word. It's like everybody has to look inside themselves and figure out what is the most bland, boring word of their own soul. And now it's your job to make your family laugh like mad with that bland, boring word. And you can only use that one word. You can only use the word that is in your soul.
I think my word is rice.
Perfect.
Ooh.
You already know it.
Ooh.
And
I'm like
rice
sitting
paper.
here. There's so many words that I could play with, but it has to be one, right?
That one evolved later on in that day to paper tire. Like once the family gets it, it evolves and becomes a cultural thing. That's how you create culture within your family. You got me?
I got you. You're
Okay.
giving me the, so I can be like pillow.
Yeah.
Pillow.
Yeah.
Pillow. See, and I'm looking at pillow. You gave it to me. You got it.
Okay. You're now ready to be a dad. Never mind all the doula and the birth and all the rest of the stuff. That's all important. This is the core of it.
Pillow.
You'll get a certificate in the mail.
I'm waiting for it.
Okay, listen, our countdown's done. We're supposed to be in the show, so we're going to do the show now. So shades may go on now.
Shades on.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show that supports small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
And that's right, we are live with COVID Marketing episode number 125 every Monday at 11 Eastern Standard Time. If you have questions on marketing or business or, well, whatever, you let us know in the comments. Wherever you fine folk are seeing this, I am Brent Kobayashi, president of Kobayashi Zeitguys, a marketing agency here in Toronto, Canada. And with me is Mr. Arthur Tutt, a marketing specialist at the KZ.
And if you want to know all of the dad jokes that you'll need to graduate from Dad University, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notify bell buttons, all the things so you never miss a show.
You can never miss a show. And with me, I have today Mr. Femi Doyle-Marshall, founder of Reboot X. He's a Reboot entrepreneur, a coach, a best-selling author, speaker, founder of the Reboot X Academy, building his companies, many, plural, on the principles of success. He's growing a loyal following of members. He's got Facebook groups, masterminds, partners, he has brand ambassadors, and he's starting with one vision based on his impact that he is bringing into this world. All right, Mr. Femi Doyle-Marshall, how are you today?
I am feeling fantastic.
Yes.
Like I'm fired up. You know, I'm so excited to be here because like I've been seeing the magic y'all have been doing, you know, for the other episodes, and I'm like, it's an honor to be here. I'm pretty excited. Let me put on my regular shades.
So good to have you. And I'm just going to let the world know that every time I have a conversation with Femi, I tell him, I'm so pissed that we're having this conversation now because this should be recorded and everybody needs to hear this stuff because it's really, really good stuff. The stuff that he drops is amazing. And he keeps saying, I'm just being casual, man. So I don't know what this is going to be. It's going to be casual, but I think we're going to dig into some really good stuff. I'm really excited.
You guys just need a D-Rock to follow you around. Just never miss a moment.
That's right. We need a crew saying, okay, what gold is coming out now? All right, dude. Okay, so you're talking about entrepreneurs, business leaders needing to reboot.
Yes.
What are you talking about? What's going on there with us business owners?
So it's funny because, you know, my first business was in health and fitness. You know, I was just focusing primarily on just like physical health, that aspect of things. And I slowly started to realize with time that entrepreneurs have this mindset where they're so focused on building their brand, building their vision, that things just tend to fall apart. You know, that psychology of, I got to just focus on currency. You know, I got to just focus on increasing capital. I just got to focus on the front end aspect of things. But in the back end, not just the business, you as an individual need to be good. You know, what are those things outside of increasing business, increasing cash flow, increasing impact that can make sure you stay at an optimal level. So reboot mindset, reboot philosophy is just on, you need to use your unique gift, unique ability to make sure you're good, which can move the entire business at the same time. So yeah, man, like it's crazy to think about how much change can happen once you tap into that one variable.
There's something that I was taught or made aware of, or which was something called power versus force, right? Which is basically, if you're forcing something, you can get stuff done, but if you're totally in power, you can, at least in the long term, get a lot of stuff done. And I think in business, one of the things that you see on many different aspects is, one, ambition. And so you like literally force yourself to do things either based on ambition or based on fear. Like, how am I going to pay my staff next month? And there's a role for that in the short term. It's like anything you do. Like if you were to say, okay, I'm going to, I don't know, run a 100-meter sprint, right?
Yep.
You go fast, short term.
Yep.
In business, I think you're sitting there doing 100-meter sprints like this day, this day, this day, this day. And you think that's just the norm.
It's true, because I think there's this belief that, the grind is the answer. The grind is the answer. I have a saying that, burnout doesn't lead to breakthrough. You focus so much on the growth, the scale, the push, that something's going to push back. A lot of times that pushback is not pretty. Like that pushback can put you in a hospital. That pushback can make you lose relationships. That pushback can make you lose faith. Like there's so many levels of that. I think as entrepreneurs, we have this belief that if I get to this thing, it'll solve the others. And it's not. It's a lie. Like it's straight up a lie. Like if I make this next sale, my family will be fulfilled. No, that's not what it is. If I add this next person on my team, I'll finally be less stressed. No, that's not what it is. Like if I do this one exercise, I'm automatically going to be healthy. Like, no, like that's like it's not about that. Like it's, where do I find balance? Where do I find structure? What do I need to blow out of my life so I can get back in alignment? Like I talk a lot about alignment, and I'm feeling as I'm talking to you, because there's certain rituals you have to do that can get you into those states. There's certain, I call those like reboot rituals. Yeah.
So let's get into those rituals in a sec. I think you're talking about the balance, but I really like that concept of, you push forward, something's going to push back.
Always.
And
that's science right there. Like,
yeah, it is. It's like literally equal and opposite, forces. Like if you're going to try to push this thing forward, and that's not to say you're not moving forward. It's just a question of, are you moving forward whole and complete and aligned? I love that word, aligned, which means, things get out of alignment when you're moving forward. Of course they do, because you're not stationary. Yeah. So you move forward. Oh, this isn't, and you adjust. And I think that's the ritual, is the adjustment part, right? It's like, I'm sitting there going, okay, I've moved forward into the world. I've made 10 sales or whatever. Now I have to figure, okay, let me readjust. Let me realign to where I've moved myself forward. Because I'm sorry, no matter what happens, everybody, we could have the smarts, we could have the brains, we could have everything. But if somebody said, here, you do Elon Musk's thing now. You got $200 billion, do his thing now. We'd be sitting there going, that's like saying, okay, great. Now run the 96K marathon thing now. Okay, so tell me about,
Yep.
All right. So
I want to ask a question, because you just gave me like this, I call these knowledge nuggets, right? You gave me a knowledge nugget that I want to unpack. Okay.
All right, cool.
If you're staying still, are you still moving?
If you're staying still, are you still moving? Yeah. Of course you are. You so much are. This is the thing that messes people up the most, I think, is they don't realize that no matter what you're doing, so long as you're conscious, as in a living human being, you're moving forward in time. So you can feel stuck.
Yep.
You can totally feel stuck. You can feel stuck for 10 years, 20 years. And what you don't realize is your brain's piecing things together. And either you're going to use those 10 years or 20 years in forward motion, or you're going to use those 10 years and 20 years and say, I'm going to push myself. I'm going to actually put myself back that far because now yeah. So yes, the answer is, that's my opinion. What's your opinion?
I was waiting for you to say that same thing. You know, I think
Yeah.
I talk a lot about this concept of wisdom, right? So somebody might be searching for something and they don't physically get that thing, but they're consolidating all of the data in their head.
Oh, yeah.
They're recognizing patterns. Like I was looking at patterns from my first business and saw how that pattern created the second business, which created the solutions I'm providing to entrepreneurs. Like you don't actually recognize those things when you're in it if you don't stay still.
Yeah. It's a big one. It's one of the ones that there's, pros and cons of having gone through that, staying still for 10 or 20 years or whatever it is, right? And one of them is you've done a lot of observing about sometimes stuff that just doesn't work. And that can be gold if you're willing to mine it as gold.
Yes.
If you're willing to say, it's worthless to me, it will be worthless to you because you're not going to take advantage of it.
It's interesting you say that, because like I was on a coaching call last week and I was talking about how to create clarity, and I was talking about the concept of what are you seeking, right? Like what are you seeking? If you seek fulfillment, you'll find fulfillment. If you seek focus, you'll find focus. If you seek clarity, you'll find clarity. So all of these things comes down to, if you seek chaos, right? Like automatically these types of things is what's going to happen in your life. So it's figuring out what you actually want, and using that as a catalyst to set up the right rituals that move you forward.
Gotcha. All right, let's go into the rituals you're talking about there, because I think those are the ones that allow you and give you that space to reflect. Because as you said, if you seek chaos, most people will say, I don't seek chaos. I don't seek failure. I don't seek all these results that I'm getting. And yet something in you is seeking it, whether you realize it or not. My belief, my point of view, which means when you get into the ritual, it gives you a little bit of in my mind, a little bit of a pattern interrupt to reflect. What was I doing today? What was I seeking? All right. So tell me about the rituals. Tell me what or tell us.
So before I get into the concept of rituals, I want to feed off of what you were saying. Someone might say to themselves, I don't seek negativity. I don't seek destruction. I don't seek chaos, yet it shows up in my life.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's a polar side. What do you really believe you're worthy of? What do you deeply within yourself believe? Now, this is not just what you verbally say. Once again, being in silence. Being in silence, being in reflection. This is a ritual right here. Like being in silence, being in reflection, listening to meditative music sounds, like actually creating space within your mind to ask those questions. What is really blocking me? And you'll find that if you're surrounded by chaos, you're surrounded by destruction, distraction, feeling defeated, depression, those negative pull anchors are likely there because of some self-belief or limiting belief or block that's there. Okay. Now, here's what I find. Rituals reinforce the positive, right? Now, the rituals that reinforce the positive will only be successful when you give yourself permission to do it. Just like any program you upload into your Mac or PC, like you need to give it permission to work. Like it's not going to just automatically start working. So if we start thinking like that for ourselves, where the reboot mindset comes into play, like if I'm not really giving myself permission to be healthy, like it's not going to happen. It's not going to stick. If I'm not really giving myself permission to improve my spirituality, improve my relationships, improve my finances, what's going to happen? Like that, like those things can end up creating blocks that create barriers from your breakthrough.
So how do you give yourself permission?
So that's where the concept of creating space comes into play, right? Really taking time to pause, taking time to ask yourself what I call RX significant questions, SIG questions, right? These questions that's like, what do I really want? What do I really want in those 4 significant areas of my health, my finances, my spirituality, my family and relationships? What do I really want in these areas of my life, right? Why are these things important to me, right? What are the things that I believe is blocking me? Now, once you actually are able to recognize what are those things that are blocking you, you can find the tools and the resources that can unpack that thing. So I believe, and from what I've seen with a lot of the individuals going through Reboot X Academy, blocks occur when you refuse to unpack a problem, period. Like there's something, whether it's real or not, you refuse to unpack. You're literally avoiding this thing, right? It could have been, man, I don't want to talk to my aunt because she's annoying, right?
Yeah.
And because your aunt is annoying, that created other problems that's causing you to not have a proper relationship with the people you actually want to love and care about.
Yeah.
Right? It's the refusal to unpack that problem. So by you asking those questions and actually going deeper to realize that is something significant to me, like breakthrough.
So when you talk about giving permission and asking those questions, to me, what goes through my mind is, one, you're saying, I'm willing to do this. And you're letting go of, I know the answer, because that's one of the reasons why we don't move forward, is because I know that she's always going to be like that. You aren't willing to open up. In fact, some of us feel helpless, right? There's business problems or whatever it is. You kind of feel helpless with it. Therefore, this is what I have, no other solution except to work myself into the ground, right?
Yep.
That's the answer. And once you give yourself space and you open up to me, I mean, there's a real strong parallel with God and religion, which is sitting there going, I don't know the answer. Let me just receive. And so when you start asking those questions and you're letting go of that, you are now going to answer.
Yes.
You are. But if you think you already have the answer, you're now not willing to receive the answer from from freaking yourself, right? You're sitting there saying, because you'll ask questions like, why am I not successful? Well, okay, I'll give you the answer. Because you're not willing to receive the answer of, how could I be successful?
Yes.
Those are 2 different questions and 2 different levels of being prepared to receive the answer.
Language is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
And language, when it's used as a vehicle to unlock keys for yourself, can change your life. So, and I'm not just talking about positive self-talk and like that stuff alone. I think all of these things are tools and assets that can be utilized. Yeah. I'm talking about actually, you mentioned it before, giving yourself permission to let go. It doesn't mean you're not in control. And I had to learn this. Like I had to learn this in entrepreneurship, right? Letting go doesn't mean you're not in control. Letting go does not mean you're not in control. It means you open up the possibility for anything else to happen, like anything. Yeah. You can, and I talk about operating in the invisible. So here's a concept I'm going to throw at y'all, and I think it's going to land on somebody, okay? When you are choosing to be different, when you are choosing to grow, I was actually writing this all in my planners today, right? When you're choosing to not settle for stuck and frustration and burnout and anger and disappointment, when you're choosing to not stay in that state, automatically, what has to happen is you have to set the tone to operate in the invisible. You have to decide, I don't know what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this. I actually do not know this, yet I trust myself that I will be led in the direction that unpacks that answer.
Yeah.
For example, when I first started my business, I had no clients. Every entrepreneur probably started out like this. They're like, how am I going to eat? Like, how am I going to feed my family? How am I going to feed my team? How am I going to make an impact? Literally, you have to operate in the invisible. But what's crazy is entrepreneurs seem to forget that your business is not your entire life.
Mm.
You're part of it. It comes together. They merge together. So if I can apply the same principle in my business, why can't I apply that same pattern into my life? Like if I don't know health, but I know I don't know health, I'm not just randomly reading blogs, like just watching people just talk in the background, but I want to know, I hire a specialist and I learn how, then I know. Same thing for spirituality, right? Let's say I'm having a challenge, I'm finding conflict, internal conflict with that area, but I want to know myself. I want to understand the flow of myself so I can get into flow.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows that? And who do I need to tap into? But for some reason, there's this belief I can do this in business, but I can't do this in my life. Like doesn't need to be that way.
It is amazing how many times people compartmentalize and segment. Although it's not, I mean, it's not unusual. It's a human condition. When I'm here with these people, I'm different than here with these people, because oftentimes, not always, because what's happening there is you're starting to adapt to your surroundings, and therefore you are now becoming maybe less of yourself, but more of what you expect is expected of you, which is why there is this, the strong CEO leader who's at work and comes home and is out of place.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Or,
yep.
I mean, and it happens all over I remember it with my kids when we would go pick them up from daycare.
Yep.
And they were fine the entire day. As soon as they saw us, tears and tantrum, and like it was just like mayhem. Because now something different in their environment's happening and they're changing to that environment. And what happens, I think, and I actually would say this is what this is the true meaning of adulting, is actually understanding yourself fully.
Yes.
That's it. Nothing else.
Yes.
It's not about making money. It's not about even raising kids. It's none of that stuff. It's actually saying, who am I? And okay, yeah, I am not feeling good here. That's okay. That's what I'm actually not feeling, rather than resisting. So you mentioned something. I'm going to push back against you a little bit here. So you mentioned that doesn't mean out of control. I think what it is reframing what it is that you are able to control. And what I mean by that is fundamentally, and this is something which I think is almost our existential thing that you're working to heal, is at some point you realize you're going to die, and that's out of your control. In your life, and everything that happens is an attempt to put some sort of order and control over things, which means part of letting go is actually reframing what it is that you're controlling, which is, in this moment, Femi, I can say these words, I can exert some level of control and do something. What will happen a second from now, or 5 minutes from now, or 10 minutes from now, the level of ability to have an effect on that diminishes, right? Because obviously 1,000 years from now, I have no freaking control over that. 5 minutes from now, I think I've got a pretty good grasp on it. I could be surprised, but, and that's where, you know, and you can see it. I mean, look, dude, I can pick up a pen. That's freaking insane. You know how many billions and millions of quarks or whatever the hell goes on that allows me to even do any of this shit that we're doing right now? Like it's mind blowing. That's a lot of control over environment that's perceived.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think there's this belief that everything is important.
Yeah.
So kind of my story is I was so fixated on controlling all of the variables, my body shut down.
Yeah. Lots
I
of
had
energy.
called a stress attack. I literally thought I had a stroke, and I recognized after that one moment of 4 weeks not able to operate the business, and I had to outsource everything while my wife was terrified that this could be very bad. What was really important? And you mentioned death. That's another thing, you know, experiencing and witnessing and seeing those things, which everybody has to go through at time, is painful. It's literally painful. Yet that pain can be used as power later down the line, right? Which comes down to your ability to heal. So for somebody who's feeling frustrated or overwhelmed, you know, like there's, I'll use the example of what I learned from our doula this past week, while all the chaos was happening and all the pieces were moving around me. You know, I unpacked the concept, which is minimize to maximize. Minimize to maximize. What are those few things you can place your time, your energy in that will maximize your impact, that will give you peace, that will give you fulfillment, that will give you clarity? So much option is there. So much possibility is there when you just, and you're operating in the invisible, so you have the answers, but you're like, okay, I'm going to do what I need to do right now.
Funny you say that, Femi, because it reminds me of Brent's expression of go fast slowly.
Yes. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I want to actually use that for something right now. Can I use that?
Yes, of course you can use it. I don't know. I got it from somewhere, somebody. But I am so comfortable, Femi, of going fast. And holy cow, is it ever slow when you do that? It just drags you down. I've now got, like, and I feel it, you know, I've been in this business for 25 years, and I can look at my, Rich, our DevOps, calls it a technical debt of all the stuff that just built up as you didn't go fast, slowly. You just had to make it happen. Somehow had to make it happen. And it just, it's like accumulating junk at home. You bought so much stuff quickly. Go for it.
I want to share the rituals. I want to share the rituals because I think that's going to be an important thing. This is not everything, but it will be an asset once you ask yourself, what do you really want? Like, ask yourself that question. Stop playing around. Like, if I'm just going to straight up have anybody who's watching this, listening, ask yourself, what do you really want? And stop playing around. Like, actually answer the question. Like, don't, like, I wonder, like, no, forget all the fluff. What do I really want? What leads me to fulfillment? What makes me hit my state of flow? This is my state of flow, by the way. So
and
I know I'm good.
Yeah, if you don't get the answer, just keep asking.
All the time. So this is the thing that's really interesting, and I'm going to go into the rituals. If you don't get an answer, and I've recognized this, for some people, if you don't get an answer, you think you're not going to get one ever. No, that's not the case. Maybe you're asking the question wrong. Maybe you got to wait to go through something before the answer shows up.
Yeah.
So let's talk about rituals here for a second. Every PC or Mac has an operating system, right? It has to function a certain way. What about humans? Same idea. So what would happen if I choose to put a new program in my operating system? Let's talk about it for health. What would happen? What would change? Something simple as staying hydrated, something simple as watching your sleep patterns, something as simple as increasing your movement and physical activity. And I don't mean a whole 20K run. Like, it could literally be what I call in my health and fitness business, pocket programs. Something short, sweet, that just gets blood flowing. That could be a simple thing you add into what I call your rituals, routines, your reboot rituals, or R2s. Now, that's for health. For spirituality, same concept. What is something that can bring me to a feeling of flow? What is something that can bring me to a feeling of fulfillment that I find works really well to connect with myself? Maybe it's praying, maybe it's meditating, maybe it's chanting, maybe it's listening to sounds, maybe it's going for a walk. Finding those things that fit for you allows you to unpack those things a lot faster. So what I recommend to anybody, if they're feeling like they're stuck somewhere, first ask the question, what do I actually want here? Like what do I want, right? Is this thing that's occurring in my life hindering me or moving me forward, right? Does this need to stay? And there's sometimes where things have to stay due to circumstances, but you need to find a way to create that clarity and peace within yourself. And that's what we talked about, like going within to transform without. That's Reboot 101. So if someone's like, man, I want to get in shape. I've always wanted to get in shape. Did you give yourself permission? Did you ask yourself, what do you really want? And then start looking at what are those few things. Maybe it's walking, maybe it's jogging, maybe it's skipping, maybe it's body weight exercises. Maybe you got to find some resistance bands and just keep it simple. Just do like the bare minimum. Like don't think you need to do it for like 90 minutes and 6-7 days a week. Your focus isn't on fitness right now. Your focus is on the pattern. What's the pattern?
Yeah. What's
the pattern? And then that's the ritual. You're
creating patterns and you're interrupting patterns. Like for some, maybe the pattern, maybe it's going on a swing and swinging. I don't know, right? Because we're all like, oh, I need to go to the gym to do this thing because they got an economic thing. There's this thing going on there. But it could be go play a game of tag with you ever play a game of tag with kids? You're going to be wiped way before them.
It's crazy.
And it's going to be you talk about blood flowing. Yeah.
You're dripping sweat. And I think that's the thing. It's the funnest thing to do is have a conversation with a child and see how open and fluid their mind is. Right? And this is what I think is very useful to every entrepreneur and every individual who wants to set up the right rituals in their life. What am I rigid in? Blow it out. Like blow that out. Like I was so rigid in my fitness regiment that I had to blow that out and become fluid. What do I want to do? So for instance, today I went and did kettlebell swings, right? With mountain climbers off the floor. Yesterday, I did a body weight circuit while I was listening to meditative music in the background, right? So what are those patterns that I have to be fluid in and focus on function and life? And it's rigidity sometimes can create the biggest problem.
Yeah, it goes back to sometimes we feel like we need to do something, which means we have to go forward. But then if that's all you're doing, you're right. You get stuck in your lane. Okay, so listen, I knew this was going to happen. We're going to be like, this is going to happen again. That's also something I know. So before we wrap up, anything that you think we need to say now that the world, you want them to hear, or you want us to hear? It can be just you, me, Arthur, just chatting.
Keep it casual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of my good friends and mentors sent a post to me. Actually, we had a conversation about the pandemic, right? And
Yeah.
right now, November 30th, the lockdown's taking place.
Yeah.
And it's impacting a lot of people, you know, a lot of businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs. And he asked me, what's one way we can save small business?
Mm-hmm.
He asked me this question and I didn't have an answer. So I'm just going to go into flow state and I'm going to unpack this right now. You have a gift. You have a gift. And when you take the time to internally reflect on what that gift is, no matter what's happening around you, you'll break through. You'll literally break through. Let go. Like, let go of the chaos, let go of the confusion. Know that the world is going to operate the way the world is. What do you need to tap into for yourself to see the transformation you want to see? That would be the one thing I would share. Just know you have the potential to break through, and ask yourself those significant questions. What do you want right now?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do right now with my gift, my asset, my ability? And what action will that produce? What impact will that produce in the next 30 days? Like, I just want every entrepreneur to literally do that. Like,
Yep.
Some people are going to be hitting some numbers they didn't believe was possible if they if they hit that. But yeah, like,
Yeah.
that'll be it.
It's a combination of letting go and moving forward,
Yes.
rather than holding on and therefore being stuck where you are.
Yes.
Totally believe it. And sure, I get it. I totally get it. You're going to let go. You're going to take action. You're going to move forward, and it's going to feel like you're back and stuck sometimes.
Yes.
However, when you don't do what you just said to do, what's happening? The opportunity, the possibility is definitely closed. You're waiting for something around you to change. And sure, it might change. It's possible the world can just happen around you. But as soon as you do exactly what you just said there, Femi, and thank you very much for sharing that, then what you're doing is you're saying, okay, I am part of this. I am going to be part of this. Now let me do something. Let me ask myself, what part of this do I want? What do I want? Decide what are you going to do to get what you want, whatever happens to come to mind. And know that no matter what, because you have made a choice to move forward, you've now learned something.
Yes.
You've moved forward. Doesn't matter your results, and you keep doing that. You keep doing that. You keep doing that. You keep saying the results, whatever comes will come. I'm letting go of that, but I'm still moving forward. That's the only way I know to be guaranteed that you are going to get what actually is possible. Anything else closes doors. You don't know what doors they're closing, but they close. As soon as you get rigid and fixed, I love that you said that about rigidity. Dude, thank you so much. How do we get in contact with you?
Yeah, no, for anybody who's moved and wants to check in and be like, I want to unpack these things, I want to break through, I want clarity, I recommend everybody to go to rebootx.com, which is the official Reboot X Academy website. You know, we have the 90-day breakthrough program, and we have a lot of resources that are there for entrepreneurs to set up success. You know, like, you don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to feel frustrated. You know, there's so much possibility and abundance there. It's just understanding what you really want and then finding the right process and pattern to implement into your life.
Nice.
And you said you have a YouTube channel. Where do we find you so we can all subscribe right now?
Yeah. So my YouTube channel is my name. So you'll probably see 2 YouTube channels come up. You'll probably see my health and fitness brand. The main one is just Femi Doyle-Marshall. Look it up. Just Femi Doyle-Marshall, not Femi Doyle-Marshall. That's for new persona, but you want Femi Doyle-Marshall. Anything that's talking about breakthrough, clarity, mindset. All of those videos are already up there. There's a bunch of really other awesome interviews that I've done in the past too that you can use. But look me up. If you see me talking like this in the camera, you know you're on the right YouTube page.
Okay, so there's 2. There's Femi Doyle-Marshall and there's New Persona Fitness.
Yeah. So New Persona Fitness is my health and fitness company, right? That one, I would say, don't subscribe. Don't subscribe to that one. Subscribe to Femi Subscribe to Femi Doyle-Marshall because there's more content there, and very soon I'm gonna launch Reboot Health. So I'm gonna take a lot of the assets in New Persona and put it into Reboot Health, so that entrepreneurs, other business leaders can understand the right rituals and patterns that can set up health successfully in their life. So yeah, follow that one.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so we'll put all the links in the descriptions, no problem. That is so good. Femi, I love how you've gone from being so, to me, my perception is you're so invested in your clients, in your health and fitness business, and they're looking at that and you're saying, how do I add more value? How do I add more value? Other things too, like what do I want and all the other kind of stuff. And now you're sitting there going, it's a little bit, it's bigger.
Yes.
Like literally that's what Reboot X, I mean, we've been chatting for, I don't know how long you've been in the back in our wonderful garden and all that kind of stuff. And to me, it's always you looking at it and saying the impact that I want to have in this world.
Yes.
Now, where's that? And I'm really, really happy to have you on the show talking about Reboot, changing the mindset of the entrepreneur journey. So good.
Thank you for having me today. I really
One
appreciate it.
Yeah.
One last thing I gotta add in here, Femi. So you now have 2 new subscribers to your YouTube channel, bumping you up from 15 to a grand total of 17.
Yes.
But I want to add a big but here. When I started at Kobayashi back in March, we had a grand total of 7 subscribers.
Yeah.
And Brent was like, you got to do something about this. And we put a lot of work into it over the last, 6-7 months now. We're now up to 250. So I just want to say, we know what it's like to start when you're at like 7 and grow it from there.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And the funny thing about that is those numbers actually excite me way more than 10,000, 20,000, 100,000. Because right now this feels like, because this stuff was good. You know, this stuff was good. You've been an entrepreneur. You've created your successful businesses. You've created your successful failures. You created all of those successes. And so when you're bringing something new in the world, this is the time. Actually, sometimes I feel like this is the time when I add most value.
Yeah. If I think back to, man, you just opened up a whole other can right there. Like, I think back to the early days with New Persona, which is called New Persona Fitness for YouTube, but New Persona Lifestyle brand. With that business, the early stages was the pinnacle of potential energy. Like, I was literally spending hours creating concepts, framework to help people improve their health and quality of life. Now, Reboot, all of you that are watching right now, the gems that I just unpacked are like premium stuff. Like this is high ticket stuff that people pay to get access to. So you're right, because you're at a window of time where you're refining your process, you're refining your messaging, you're refining your vision, which people learn, your vision of success, so that when somebody comes in, they're like, whoa, I didn't know I could live life like this, or do, like, it's Yeah, you hit the nail on that. So right now is an asset accumulation.
You know, geez, I love you said the potential energy in that. I love physics. Like you're sitting there, you know that when something is at rest, there's a heck of a lot of potential energy in it. Right? That's how come you can have a hydrogen bomb. Because you're sitting there saying there's a heck of a lot of potential energy in this piece of material if you could only figure out how to tap into it. So when you look at everybody out there right now who's looking at, I don't know, you're doing your YouTube, you're doing your business, you're looking at your sales and all that kind of stuff. Look at any number that you're at, especially if you feel like it's at the low end. You're sitting there and you have 1 subscriber or 0 subscribers on YouTube. You look at that, instead of saying, oh, there's so much to go, look at that and say, there's so much potential energy because you have it in you. It's just waiting to figure out how to untap it, to start the fission fusion chain that goes and becomes the sun that shines brightens the entire world with you.
I want to share this one thing.
We're ending the. Go do it.
The show's never gonna end. It's never gonna end.
That's good. Do it.
We for an hour, like 2 hours on this. But there's one thing I want to share that I unpacked with one of my other friends, like who's an entrepreneur who does treatment and physio and stuff. I basically was sharing to him, you as an entrepreneur have to remember that the world that we live in is surrounded by so much darkness. Like there's so much darkness that's outside. Yet you're a light. That's energy. You are a light. So if you decide to use and choose to use your unique gift, your unique ability, that light gets brighter. Now you add someone else to your team, their light gets brighter. Now they go somewhere else, the light gets brighter. So if you start thinking about that energy and that impact, the brighter you are by turning it on and impacting other people, the more change that ends up happening, and people just end up like who and where they want to be.
All right.
Done.
Love it. All right. We have an outro. We're going to do that now because if I say another word, it literally will be the 2 hours.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Femi. Such an awesome time. That was an outcome that I knew I could not control, but participate in, let go, flow into, easy peasy. I knew what was going to happen there. It was a done deal as soon as we said, hey, let's do this. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Next week on Monday's show, we will be having Bisa Dobson, a registered massage therapist who specializes in lymphedema. She's been on our show before on Kill the Guru. It's another episode of Kill the Guru, a marketing show. We're going to dig into her business, find out how she's moved herself forward, find out where she's at now, and see if we can give her some guru advice that she's going to take, not take, bring into her own life, become her own guru, and kill the freaking external gurus because she's the one that's got it, not us. We're just here to have the honor of riding and witnessing her journey. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you all later.
Femi, it was a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you.